And we're back.
Oh,
We're back.
sitting there looking real bored.
Right, yeah. Sorry, guys. We got disconnected again. You know what? I'm going to say it. There's also another reason that we're not doing a weekly show anymore because this keeps happening to us. It's a little deflating, I got to be honest.
It really is.
All right, I'm sorry. So you were talking about Camp Higgins.
Yep.
Can you tell us, you want to start from the beginning or you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I don't know. Johnny, do you have an idea of where I was? Fantastic.
You said Archie horror. You said
You're looking for the death. You're looking forward to the death.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the death. I was saying that it's part of the one-shot anthologies that Archie's been kind of trying their hand at in these Archie horror books. Because they used to do, like, it would be a mini-series, like Jughead the Hunger was a mini-series, and Vampironica, and, like, Blossom 666. But now they've moved on to this, like, anthology framework, which I think works really well to show, because you can tell a bunch of like short, quick bursts of stories and put everyone in a bunch of different scenarios versus being committed to like a particular scenario for 6 to 12 issues.
Absolutely. No, I've noticed, just like with the Yosef book and this, a couple of things I've noticed lately, shorter series.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a lot of shorter series, which I think is a great approach in general. Like, more miniseries, less long form, 12-issue, 8-issue books. Like, let's be speedy about this, guys.
Right.
Let's wrap it up. All right, so that's what's available at your local comic shop. That's some of what's available at your local comic shop this week. Of course, that is not all. You can see the full list over at presworld.com/new releases. And just to remind you of that even more, here's Anna Mia with what's at comic shops for this week. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Mia here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the awesome titles that you can find at your friendly local comic shop for the week of June 21st, 2023. To see the full list of what's available this week at your friendly local comic shop, head on over to previewsworld.com/new releases.
And that is, of course, only some of what's available at your local comic shop. Head on to previewsworld.com/new releases. Also, previewsworld.com/catalog, where you can find out what's available pre-order monthly. New releases, of course, is for what's at your local comic shop this week. Let's dive into some news. How about that?
I'm ready.
Speaking of Transformers, we have some Transformer news. You guys probably already seen this. Let's do it. News time. What?
Was that a gunshot?
no, just an explosion.
Oh, okay.
Just a casual
This is kind of
explosion.
an
That's
explosion. I
what's
guess.
going on behind the scenes. That's why we keep getting knocked off the air.
Right, it's true.
literally.
Yeah. Ashton, what's going on this week in the world of nerddom?
Yeah, Skybound acquired Transformers, both the Transformers and G.I. Joe licenses for comic books.
Yeah.
And it's going to be part of this massive shared universe written by Robert Kirkman and Lorenzo De Felici, starting with Void Rivals. Void Rivals will be kind of the kickoff of this massive shared universe, first issue of which came out last week.
Yeah, I was about to say,
14.
the new comic from Skybound?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So the first issue ends, there's like a massive twist in the very like last issue or last page of the issue, just like a Transformer shows up and they're like, gotcha.
Oh, you know what? Freaking Robert Kirkman, man. You know what? He's like 3 for 3 at this point, I think.
He's
like,
killing it.
He knows how to like kind of like just enough to get that aftermarket to like start like flipping out.
Right. So it'll be called the Energon universe, which is funny that you talked about the Energon
Cube, yeah.
So it'll be the Void Rivals book. There will also be a new monthly Transformers comic and a line of character-focused G.I. Joe books as a limited series that are all feeding into this shared universe.
Wow. I am thoroughly impressed. I had no idea that's what he was doing. Okay, interesting. I mean, and they were pushing Void Rivals hard, so
It's on the cover of the catalog and everything.
Yeah.
They kept that one under their hat.
They did. I mean, it's like I want to say he is really 3 for 3 because like what there was the final issue of Walking Dead. There was something else that happened recently with Skybound that I can't remember right now. And then there's this. God, I wish I could remember what the second thing was. But like, there's been a couple times where they've thrown retailers and eBay a swerve. Ooh. And just been like, now this thing's worth a crap ton of money.
Kirkman's like, why have 200 issues when you can have 194?
You okay, Ashton? Are you okay? You going to be all right with that?
No.
You're still not okay? Okay, all right.
It might, as long as it's 194, but I don't think it was. I think he ended on 193, which is a prime number, and I'm not cool with prime numbers.
Okay.
Me and prime numbers are beefing.
You beef with prime numbers. Okay, fair enough. God, I haven't heard prime numbers in a long time. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. What else is going on in the world of nerddom?
Massive Publishing, home of Whatnot Publishing, which maybe is what they're more known for at the moment, had named a new editor-in-chief, Blake Northcott. So she recently partnered with Whatnot on the North Valley Grimoire series, which apparently became Canada's most funded fiction novel of all time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Through Kickstarter, and then is also available through comic book shops. So she'll be taking the reins as editor-in-chief. So their CEO, Michael Calero, said in a statement, Blake's commitment to the craft of storytelling, her passion for comics, and the amazing ability she has to connect with creators is what made her the obvious choice to help lead the company into its next phase of expansion and innovation. How are you feeling? Because I know you like some of the stuff going on and Whatnot and Massive.
No, I in general am a fan of Whatnot. And it's interesting to kind of like see the moves that they're making. You can see them developing a very particular brand, which I also really appreciate. And I'm sorry, I hate saying that word sometimes, even though we work in marketing, it's very common. But yeah, I think getting Blake Northcott as editor-in-chief, first of all, didn't realize she was even interested in something like that.
Right.
But I mean, on top of that, like I think that's also a good move because she's kind of like an internet, for lack of a better term, internet darling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like she's one of those people online that like just kind of like the fans kind of like rally around in general, which is probably why her book was so successfully funded on Kickstarter.
True.
So I think that's really cool, and I think we're actually at a point now where we do need kind of like editor-in-chiefs to be faces again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Someone to kind of like spearhead the company in a way that's sort of like, hey, I am the creative thrust behind this company, and like here's why you should be excited about the things we're doing. And like, you know, we haven't had that since like, we haven't had since Joe Quesada stepped down, truthfully. As editor-in-chief, he hasn't, before he left Marvel. So yeah, very curious about that. I think that's going to be really cool. Let's get into something that you're excited about for sure. Last Airbender, first looks. How do you feel about this look? Is this a good look? Oh, really? So. Wow, interesting.
I think Sokka looks the best, and I think Zuko looks the best.
Okay.
Of all of these.
Interesting.
I think it's a really nice touch that there's all of the detail in Aang's arrow. Like, if you were to zoom in, there's tiny swirls, and it's not just
Okay.
So, and all of the actors are Asian, which is hugely forward. Thank you. Right, from the M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong fiasco. So I don't
know. That in itself too. Can I just say?
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan, also Asian.
Yeah. Why did that happen? How and why and who and what?
I just want to point that out. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Continue.
Like, I'm Asian. Let me cast white people in this movie about Asians.
Oh my God. Anyway.
So I think it looks okay. The costuming looks good. My big concern here is this all looks very serious to me.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And the show is as goofy. It is equal parts goofy and serious.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
and I'm really worried that some of that goofiness is going to get lost. And I think that it needs the goofiness for two reasons. One, like, you have to acknowledge the fact that it was originally a kid's show.
Sure, yeah.
Two, without it, the themes are super heavy.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't just have an entire, like, just like genocide
Yeah,
and murder
yeah,
and identity crisis and emotional meltdowns
Right,
and like
yeah.
all of this just like without any sort of break.
Some levity, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I saw the still of Aang. I did not see the other characters until now. I just thought about something that, like, just kind of randomly. I remember when they first announced the Thor movie. Well, no, I'm sorry. When they first started showing stills from the Thor movie, right? Everybody was sort of like, right? And I remember very because I knew who the director was. The director's Kenneth Branagh, right, of the Thor movie. And I remember thinking to myself, like, no, this is what it looks like when a person who's taking a picture of these things from across the room. This is what these things look like now. But when you give a film director like the chance to actually direct these things, it's going to look very different. I'm thinking that might be also the case here. You said it looks serious, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, it's Netflix also, so that's also a concern.
That's
as
my
well.
other concern. Like, I'm really very worried that the bending sequences are going to look tacky or cheap. Because, like, it is an anime, and Netflix has not historically done well adapting anime to live action without it looking tacky.
No.
And they're also going to be butting heads with like the Avatar production studio through Nickelodeon, who's working on a bunch of new animated stuff. So.
Oh wait, that's right. I forgot. This is not from the creators of Avatar:
They
The Last
left.
Airbender.
They left because
ditched this.
Netflix was
That's right.
not following like the creative origins of the characters, and the original creators were like, this doesn't feel like Avatar. Like, can we change it? And Netflix is like, no, you shut up. And they're like, all right, well, we're gonna go over here.
We're
then.
gonna go back to Nickelodeon and make our own thing.
Yeah.
How does that happen? That's the thing I'm always curious about, because I mean, like, you've just reminded me about this. I forgot about all that, like, internal drama. How does that happen? How do you, like, pick up something from the creators of a thing and, like, get it licensed over to, like, another platform, and then the platform's like, no, we're gonna make our own version, like. And I mean, look, I grew up on comic book movies in the '90s. I get it to an extent, right? Like, I get that, like, okay, the director has a vision, the producers have a different vision, and then they go and do another thing. But I'm like, I just feel like this is a bit of a different animal, though. Like, I don't know.
It's beloved. It's well known.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things in the series that like people are aware of or touch points they're looking for without even having maybe seen the whole thing, and changing it feels like a disservice. It also feels like they haven't learned that lesson. Like, that's exactly what happened with The Witcher. Henry Cavill walked away because they weren't being true to the source material, and now they're gonna have issues with it after season 3's over. And it's like, you're just set to repeat the same thing again.
Right, yeah.
Well, Ashton, I have a quick question. Would you say that all of this about the show is giving you anxiety?
It really is. I want it to be good, but I don't think it will, and I am anxious. Anxious.
Yeah, I'm kind of just floored by that. Like, and like when I say like it's a different animal, I'm thinking, okay, Batman gets adapted to a Tim Burton movie, right, or a Joel Schumacher movie, right? We'll talk about that later, actually. And okay, Bob Kane, Bill Finger don't own Batman. DC owns Batman, and they're just kind of just been like, here, WB, just make a movie out of it so we can make money.
Have Batman.
Right, I get that. But it's like the creators of these books, the creators of Avatar are very much alive.
Yes.
Very much involved in production. Like, it's not like these are comic book creators who don't do television production. Like, I'm really floored by that Netflix would do that. That's really interesting. I know that I've been watching. I watched the most recent season of Black Mirror. I actually liked the most recent season of Black Mirror.
I've heard it's wild.
But I was reminded that they also took that series away from the creator as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that did happen as well. And you're starting to see elements of that in this season. I guess you probably saw elements of that in the other previous seasons too, because they did that. Was it Bandersnatch?
Oh yeah.
Choose your own adventure thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was the type of stuff that he was like, I don't want to do that. And they were like, well, we're just going to do it anyway. So yeah, you start to see more of that. The new season's good, but it's just very interesting that that's how they move. Like, it's they believe in the mighty algorithm. The algorithm tells them how to tell stories, and so it's like, hey, I know you made this thing, but the algorithm says this. At episode 3, there's got to be a plot twist.
It has to be.
There has to be a plot twist.
Sorry.
And yeah, I like no, absolutely. That's how they think. Speaking of things that get taken away and turned into something else entirely, Craving the Hunter. That's that pass.
Big pass.
Big pass.
Hard pass.
It's really unfortunate because you come out of Spider-Verse with all these great feelings.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, Sony really knows what they're doing. And then they drop this nonsense on us like a few weeks later, and it's just like, oh wait, we're still doing this?
I just have so many questions. One, I didn't realize this was the Sony universe of whatever their thing is. Two, trailer's 3 minutes long, and it starts on a high note and just
plummets. Exactly, yeah.
Russell Crowe's in there. Not sure why.
Not sure why.
Pass.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that Spider-Man rules applied to lions. Like, this man absorbed lion blood into his bloodstream, and now he's just
Oh yeah, I forgot about
a
that.
lion.
Which is definitely not. Craven the Hunter is just a good hunter. Like, that's it.
No, his origin story is that he absorbed
Yeah.
lion blood, and now he's a hunter like a lion.
Craven the Hunter is just a phenomenal hunter. He goes after Spider-Man. Like, I think there is a little bit of something where he's dating this voodoo priestess chick, but and actually I guess Ariana was her face from West Side Story's in this, as she's Calypso, I guess.
DeBose, Ariana DeBose.
Yeah, DeBose, yeah. But no, absolutely not. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about this, because I was just sort of like, oh, we're still doing this?
It looks tacky too.
Like, it looks tacky. Spider-Verse completely extracted the memory of Venom. Venom's just okay, but Venom and Morbius, and the fact that there was a whole separate villain line of movies that we were doing. So
yeah, and Vulture shows up at the end of Morbius, for
no
reasons.
reason. And it's not here's the thing, here's the big secret. It's not going anywhere. We know it's not going anywhere. Stop doing this to us.
Spider-Man's never gonna show up.
It's never gonna show up in this. Stop doing this. Please. Just really bizarre. I don't know, just whatever. Also, actually, I just remember, speaking of other studios having things, right? Marvel, I think the week before, got back the Hulk and Namor.
Namor?
Yeah. So apparently they weren't allowed to star in their own movies for years because those rights were tied up in another studio. So officially, as of I guess last week, Marvel can make Hulk movies again.
Oh, wasn't the last Hulk movie they made? It was the Edward Norton one that's a bajillion hours long.
Right. And the reason Namor, some Mariner, showed up in Wakanda Forever but doesn't have his own movie, same reason.
Right.
So yeah, interesting turn of events there. Even more so on the superhero kick. I'm glad to see that Batman Forever is getting some love.
Yeah, what's going on with this?
So Kevin Smith is doing a screening of apparently what is the Joel Schumacher's director cut of Batman Forever. And I've said this for a while now. Joel Schumacher is actually a really good director. He's directed other things. It's just that comic book nerds have hooked on to Batman and Robin specifically, and have made his entire career about the guy directed The Lost Boys. He directed The Time to Kill. He directed Falling Down. He's a good director. He's a really good director. And so, sure enough, Kevin Smith, I guess, had been. There were some rumors going around that apparently, if The Flash had done well, that they were going to do this release. But it seems like they decided to just go ahead and release it anyway.
This might do better than The Flash.
It might do better than The Flash. But he's going to be releasing it at his theater, so it's going to be kind of an exclusive event that people can go see and watch. I always thought Batman Forever was a good movie. I don't know if you remember Batman Forever that well. I guess you were probably pretty young when it came out. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But it's a good Batman movie. It's Joel Schumacher basically wanted to do the 60s TV show in 1995, and he accomplished that, I think, very successfully. Jim Carrey's ridiculous. Tommy Lee Jones ridiculous.
Perfect. Bless you.
Bless you, Johnny. And Val Kilmer, surprisingly enough, a very good Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
So, yes. I'm a fan of it. It also is a gorgeous looking movie, so I'm curious what the other edits to this movie are. So go check that out if you get a chance. I am assuming it's going to be in Jersey, where Kevin Smith is from, famously.
Oh, that would make sense.
So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. I wonder if eventually they'll probably release on HBO Max.
I feel like they have to.
I feel like they would have to eventually. So, we'll see.
I mean, he's from Jersey, but he lives out in L.A. now.
Oh yeah, he does live out in L.A. That's right. Yeah, true. So he probably will release in L.A. Probably like a Man's Chinese.
Where's his comic book store?
It's in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Well, there are two. There is one in Red Bank, New Jersey, but there is a West Coast one.
Oh, there is a West Coast
Okay.
one.
All
Oh.
right, gotcha. But I thought that was cool, and I'm glad people are no longer naysaying. They're separating Batman Forever from Batman and Robin, and I think that's a cool thing. I think that's good because those two movies are, they're just one's way better than the other.
Right.
We do have a couple more comments.
Yeah, what's up, comments?
Fantastic Four saying would be pretty cool if Craven's origin logic applied to Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
Oh my God. Just be turn into
That'd be a
massive
very different
bear,
movie.
eating people.
DJ Young saying, I don't know how the production companies don't see the Craven trailer and notice it's a huge stream, maybe, movie.
Yeah, it definitely is not giving movie theater.
Well, the only problem is Sony doesn't have their own streaming service.
Oh, that's true.
Should just dump it on Netflix and call it a day.
Netflix don't want that garbage.
Yeah,
They got enough of their own garbage.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else, Johnny?
And last one, Ubaldo is saying, another Morbius movie feeling boo.
Yeah, I mean, 100% Morbius vibes. I fell asleep on Morbius. We watched it when it was on Netflix. I think actually, yeah, it was on Netflix.
I wasted money to see that in the
You did see it in the
theater.
theater. You know what? It's your fault at that point, Ashton. It's your fault.
It's my own fault. It is. It was rough.
Oh God. Yeah, no. It definitely gives me Morbius vibes. I'm not a fan. What I am a fan of, however, segue, is we're gonna start doing more roundtables every single month, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we're losing the weekly show, but part of the deal is that we're gonna start doing more content directly engages the audience in the conversations they're having on a weekly basis, especially online. There's a lot of there's always a controversy of the week when it comes to comics and nerd things, et cetera. And we just want to allow people to have a platform to unpack it. Not just me, not just Ashton, right? But also the people watching these live streams. So check out our most recent live stream, which was a roundtable discussion we did about manga versus American comics. And when we come back, we'll get into some asinine arguments. Would you guys say we're the third generation of anime kids at this point? Or maybe the fourth, I don't know, because I kind of think about so I look at, I think of Astro Boy and Speed Racer, right? And then you get into you kind of jump forward a little bit, you get to Robotech, right? And then you're starting to get into the Project A-ko, Akira, Appleseed era, right? And then after that, I want to say is Sailor Moon, right? And that's a whole era in itself. So I don't know how many generations that is. This is probably maybe five at this point.
Well, I think some of those are crossing over, Troy.
Some of those crossing over, yeah.
How many generations have been exposed? You're saying to anime stuff? I'd say probably closer to 4.
Closer to 4. Right,
but
after that you get
probably
the Pokemon
started
and
with the oldest of Generation X, because I don't think that really boomers were as exposed.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, when Astro Boy and Speed Racer were coming out, they didn't know what it was.
Probably a good way we can section things off is from Speed Racer to about the point we were getting Voltron in the late 80s. So Shogun Warriors happening in between there. And then the VHS era with Akira starting the next generation that leads into the Toonami era. And then the 2000s kind of taking the next step on there.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's already part of the culture in a lot of ways. It's, it's kind of already, in a weird way, it's American pop culture is already kind of consumed it in a lot of different ways, right? I mean, I feel like Toonami is almost like the remixing of it into American culture to make it palatable to us in a lot of ways, right? So,
I mean, there's so many millennials that still have their Pokemon cards.
Yes.
Right? It's thoroughly been intertwined into it. So it's just nice that, we're getting more a nice plethora of different things to be able to just go to a random theater and catch a Dragon Ball movie whenever it comes released. 9-year-old me would be obsessed.
Right. Or re-releases for that matter. The fact that I got to see Ghost in the Shell in the theater. Because I sure as hell didn't get a chance to see it when it originally came out. It's sort of oh, that's amazing. All right, and that was the manga versus American Comics Roundtable. And just so you know, we're actually having another roundtable this week on Friday. We're going to be talking about the Ultimates, which was a Mark Miller, Brian Hitch series from Marvel in the early 2000s, kind of like a sea change for Marvel Comics in general at the time. It just so happens that another book that I'm definitely going to read this week, Ultimate Invasion, is coming out this week by Jonathan Hickman. And that's kind of marking a new era for the Ultimate line, which was really, I say this with a grain of salt, but a lot of people have said that this is it was the makings of the MCU for a lot of, for very specific reasons, I'll say. And so we're going to get into that. I'm having Mystical Green Beanie on, who has a lot of opinions about this. I'm also inviting actually the guy who manages my local comic shop, Grady Page. He's going to come through, and also Derek Scarzillo with Action to Go-Go. Yeah, we're just going to talk about the series in general, not just the Brian Hitch, Mark Miller run, but also the subsequent sequels, for better or worse. And so maybe we'll also unpack what happened to the Ultimates line, because it kind of spiraled and died, unfortunately, at one point eventually. And now it's coming back. So yeah, keep an eye on those roundtable discussions. Like I said, we're going to be doing more things like that in the future, in addition to like the Frank Miller and Dan DiDio interviews. And talking to creators about their craft and why they do the things they do and what they have coming up. So yeah, a lot of diverse, I'll say, video content coming our way, not just a previews role, but also to Free Comic Book Day. So stick around.
A couple more comments.
More comments.
Anton's back. We haven't seen from her.
Oh, wow.
The new Craven trailer looks really cool, and Rhino, so I guess we'll get Craigslist Hunt next.
What?
I don't know.
What? I think that's a predictive text error.
I'm lost.
Craigslist Hunter. I like that though.
That
sounds like a Netflix crime
I was
documentary.
going to say that.
Eddie Fox saying, Ashton, who did your makeup looks good.
Thank you. I did my own makeup.
Birthday makeup.
Yeah. I kind of was like, I think I want to be dramatic today.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Why the heck not? Speaking of dramatic, ready for the Asinine Arguments?
Oh, yes.
All right, let's jump into it. Asinine Arguments time.
This week's question is about food. It's about food.
All right.
It's also
I'm
about
hungry, so.
fighting and murder.
Okay. It's a lot of things. All right. Okay, let's see where this goes.
Okay. So this week's question is, in a food fight to the death, what is your consumable weapon of choice?
Food fight to the death.
Frozen patties, peanuts, a sharpened candy cane, or watermelon?
Ooh, you know what? I saw that David Harbour Santa movie.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely killed somebody with a sharpened candy cane. So I'm instantly going to say sharpened candy cane. That's my pick.
Man, that was quick.
That was quick.
You could do a lot of murder, though, if someone has a peanut allergy.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. That seems mean. That's really
It does.
mean.
Seems real personal.
That's really mean. Jeez.
It's a very intimate way to murder somebody.
That would be like a long con. Like you'd have to well, actually, no, I guess
Depends
not.
how allergic
It
they
depends
are.
on how allergic
They
you
could
are.
go
That's
into
right,
like
yeah.
if they don't have an EpiPen, that's ball game.
It's in. That's true. Yeah, it could be over in a matter of seconds. Okay. This is so morbid.
I would like to point out also the reason watermelon is in all caps is because I got very excited when I was posting this poll at the prospect of having a trebuchet that launches watermelons.
You read my mind.
Oh, really?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That was it? Okay. All right.
Yes.
So that's definitely your pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. I want to see that alone right there.
A
Especially if they're frozen,
trebuchet.
you're going to do some damage to people.
You could wreck some things.
You could. You really could. Like, you could probably take someone's head off with it if you're, like, launching a watermelon from a distance.
And considering only like 1 in 200 adults have a peanut allergy, like,
Oh, really?
it's not yet. Well, I had to look it up. But
Not that useful.
All right. So, Johnny's saying watermelon. It sounds like you're team watermelon, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
I'm
got
going to stick
really
to sharpened
excited.
candy cane, although I do love the trebuchet. So, what is watermelon says? What the survey says?
Oh,
sharpened candy cane. Oh.
51% are saying sharpened candy cane.
Wow. That's a
runaway winner.
That's a runaway winner. So a lot of people are here for the close quarter combat, I guess.
It's a melee.
Some people want the personal death. Like, yeah, that's interesting. I just got an image in my head of remember Saving Private Ryan, the guys fighting in the bell tower, and he's got the knife and he's trying to like stick
Yes.
the other guy. And I just thought of that with a candy cane. Like just saw that in my head just now.
Real, yeah, that's also very personal and
It's
intimate.
very personal and intimate. Okay, maybe I'll
Like, where is
reconsider.
this battle happening? Santa's workshop?
Maybe it is happening in a lunchroom in December.
I was gonna say Candyland, but okay, yes.
Candyland! Oh my God! There is the guy, the candy cane forest guy, that's like 1,000 feet tall, and he's got the
I hate
axe.
that guy. I don't like that guy
He
at all.
is
He creeps me out.
scary.
He used to creep me out. I did not like that guy.
I don't like the gloopy guy. That's like the fudge
Yeah,
or
that too.
whatever.
Don't like that. Actually, a lot of stuff is nightmare fuel now that I think about it. No wonder I didn't play Candyland that much.
Queen Faustina's sexy. She a cutie.
I have to look her up again. I don't remember what she looks like. I only remember the stuff that like haunted me apparently.
This is
from
the
Candyland.
candy cane forest guy. Oh, and, oh my God, the licorice guy. He was scary too.
I had to look that one up too. I don't remember that one either.
Is this a continuation of our McDonald's Wasteland story?
It
from
kind
last
of
week?
is. Yeah.
Maybe they go to Candyland.
Maybe they go to Candyland. It's a crossover.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, but with Candyland and McDonald's
Yes.
Land. There it is. You know what? Actually, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I said I was gonna make a comic of this. I'm gonna figure out how to make a comic of this. Like, no lie. As a matter of fact, we talked about doing it with AI, and I just saw that Marvel made a whole credit sequence for Secret Invasion, which is actually out today, using AI. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna find a way to make the creepiest, weirdest McDonald's Candyland cross. Or maybe the book will end with them crossing over to Candyland or something like
Just
that.
the giant candy cane X guys waiting for him.
Right, yeah, exactly. I bought backup. There you go.
We do have a couple more comments.
Yeah, what's up, comments? About to
Let's
say.
see here. DJ Young is saying sharpened candy cane makes me think it's a kid prison lunchroom.
A
scene."
kid prison. Isn't there a name for that? Isn't that juvie?
Juvie? Oh, yeah, juvie. Yeah, there you go. Or school, or public school.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Hey, I went to public school, so I can say that.
Andy Fox is saying frozen patties are too cold, peanuts are too small, watermelon's too heavy, candy cane.
Candy cane.
Just
See,
right.
Andy's team candy cane. See.
the Goldilocks of food weapons.
What else we got, Shotty?
Fat Tony's saying I have to go with Johnny on this. Watermelon for the win. The explosions alone would be fantastic.
That's
so
true.
entertaining.
It'd be
It
like
is
something out of a
entertaining.
Gallagher concert.
Out of a Gallagher concert, exactly, 100%.
But my
All
only
right.
thing with like the candy cane is like, how are you going to sharpen it? Do you have to be like, excuse me while I get my weapon?
Well, no, they're pre-sharp. Well, I guess you got a point there.
You could whittle it.
You
Yeah,
can whittle it, yeah. Exactly, basically. All right, I'm kind of team watermelon now, but
Just because it's hilarious.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Where else are we? Comic shop shout out time.
That's right.
There you go.
Thanks for the
Sorry.
reminder.
Neither one of us had coffee today, so it's kind of a struggle. Anyway,
This week's comic shop shout out goes to Fat Jack's Comic Crypt in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is a hilarious name. for
that
a
is a
comic book shop.
hilarious name.
We'll show you some pictures inside of Fat Jack's during the credits roll. You can check out their shop. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, tomorrow is the last week we can shout out your local comic book shop. It is your last opportunity. So find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
And actually, I should say, we're going to do the comic shop shout out. It's just we're not going to be doing it for this show anymore.
That's true.
Right, so there will be other opportunities to let people know about the local comic shop in your area for sure on social media. Here's your reminder to like, follow, and subscribe. You can hang out with me at Previews World, and you can hang out with Ashton at.
Free Comic Book Day.
And if you hang out with me at Previews World, there's a couple of things you'll see. The Ultimates Roundtable. I mentioned this earlier. This is this Friday at 5 p.m. Hanging out with people talking, of course, about the Marvel Ultimates line, well, the Marvel Ultimates series specifically, which is basically the Avengers, right? But then on top of that, we're going to be doing more roundtables in the near future. I also should give a shout out to Jamiroquai,
Oof. No.
who apparently is also on our website.
How did he get there?
With the SH Figure Arts action figure.
I didn't even realize it was a figure at first when I went on the website yesterday because it was on the splash, and I just feel like it was in my face, and I was like, "Is this a person?"
Yeah, right. No, it looks like. I'll give SH Figure Arts credit. You first see it, and I was like, "Wait, why is the Jamiroquai video on our feed?" I thought it was like a prank or something like that.
It looks really good. Like
It
that's
looks
a
really
figure.
good. But not kidding, Jamiroquai action figure from SH Figure Arts. It's $95.
For some
Look
reason.
here. Look, the Space Cowboy album is a good album. if you're a really big fan of Jamiroquai, who apparently still tours and still does stuff, still does music,
They're
then
in
you can check
Prague.
this out. They're in Prague apparently, right? So there you go.
It's not coming out until next year.
Next year, but you know what? At this point, I think Jamiroquai fans have been waiting long enough. So
This is their moment
this
in
is
the
their moment.
sun.
They'll wait another couple of months just to get this thing. Also, interviews. I do at least 2 interviews every single week on a good week. I do an interview two interviews every single week. This week's interview is actually for a book called The Antagonist, which is by Tyler F. Martin of Godhood Comics. This is basically about a husband and wife couple. The way that it has been described to me is Ozark meets The Incredibles.
I love Ozark.
So, yeah, if you're into that concept, which actually sounds like a lot of dastardly fun, you should definitely check out The Antagonist. It's available pre-order now, but before you even go to pre-order, go to preesworld.com and find out more from their creator himself, Tyler F. Martin, and he'll put you on to what exactly this series is about and what you'd expect from this series. He definitely said that, can you scroll for a second, Johnny, to the last question? I'm going to call him out a little bit because I said, in terms of audience, who's the antagonist for? He says, we recommend a mature audience rated T for teen. So 13 plus is a good age to start. I'm like, wait a minute.
None of those words mean the same thing.
I'm not sure if he was joking or he was trolling. I mean, I'm kind of a fan of like, look, kids are supposed to see stuff they're not supposed to see. So I'm like, go for it.
It's for a mature audience. It's rated T for teen. Those two things already aren't the same thing.
Right.
And then 13 plus, that would be a teen plus rating, so that's
Right.
not the same thing
That's
either.
not the same thing either. Right. So even if he was trolling, I just thought that was a hilarious answer. So definitely check that out. And that is it for the penultimate episode. Penultimate episode of Previews Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we will see you guys next week at the Spinner Rack for the last episode. Catch you later.
We all love comics, but do you also love toys and collectibles? Well, I've got you covered on my weekly show, DST Unboxed, where I show you some amazing items and even some exclusives that are on their way to your local comic shop. Check it out at youtube.com/collectdst.